In this daily drop, I'm going to talk about why I paid $75 for one single cable. So let's go. Okay, everybody, last episode of the week, and we're talking audio. And if you follow along with the channel, you may know that I have two new cameras coming into the C47 in the very, very near future, imminent. The Canon C400 and the C80, and both of those cameras use TA3 or Mini-XLR connectors for their audio. Female on the camera side, and then that means that you need male in terms of connectors to go in there. And for my particular setup, what I'm doing is I'm going from microphones into the MixPre6-II, and then from the MixPre6-II into said camera system. More than likely, it's going to be the C400 as a camera, but there are going to be times where I'm going to be going directly into the C80 if I just have to bring a single camera with me and I want to have a smaller camera package. So there's a company out there called Cable Techniques, and I sourced one of their cables. This one's about 15 inches long. It's a 3.5 millimeter TRS tip ring sleeve, basically stereo. It splits out to essentially a Y cable configuration. And then you have two connectors here, obviously one for channel 1 and channel 2. So that's that. The problem is that that cable is too short for my particular setup. So if I was, maybe in a different setup, it would make sense, but I'm not. Called up Cable Techniques and said, here's my situation. I need a longer version of that cable, 4, 5, 6 feet long. And they said, call audio department in Burbank, California. Now, I've been to audio department before, and they're definitely, as their name implies, an audio shop. And I basically called up and said I'd like a custom cable because they do make those. And I'd like it to be, in the end, I decided on 5 feet. And I'd like that to still originate at the 3.5 millimeter, 1/8 inch. And then I'd like it to terminate in 2 TA3M for male connectors. So we've got basically channel 1 and channel 2. And when it arrived, I was a little surprised by this little breakout box. Not something I'm that familiar with, but I spoke with Gene over at Audio Department. And the reason this exists is for a couple of reasons, but the most important is it's much easier to service this particular cable this way. It's designed to be out in the elements. I spoke to him and he said, NFL Films, a lot of their other clients, Discovery, Nat Geo, things like that, are using these cables. It is sealed here. And then it terminates to these two, or splits off to these two. One is shorter than the other. He's very familiar with the cameras I'm using, so that one can go into channel 1 and one can go into channel 2. What's great about this particular situation is this custom cable, which is longer than the one I had from Cable Techniques, and they don't make a longer version of this, was almost exactly the same price. This is about $75 US on B&H. This was $75 US to have this made. And then I paid, because I'm on the West Coast, I don't know, $8 or $9 to have it shipped up here to Oregon. And this is going to be my main audio solution to go from the MixPre6-II to either the C400 or the C80. This would work with other cameras that use Mini-XLR as their connectors as well. And it may seem like a lot of money for a custom cable, but it is exactly that. It's a custom cable. So somebody had to make this. It's to my specifications. And once I understood why this was here, because you could, in fact, eliminate this and shrink wrap it and then have it so that it's not user serviceable. So I'm going to take this as as something that's a positive, not a negative. It's going to be pretty easy to put a little Velcro on here if I need to attach it to something. But it's beautiful that we have these options nowadays. If you can't find exactly what you need on B&H, on Amazon, or somewhere like that, then there are places that still exist, like Audio Department, where you can call up and you can make a custom cable order. So there you go. That's why I paid. And this is what happens when I shoot daily drops. The pie's ready. I'm getting text like crazy, but you get the idea. All right, there you go. I'll put a link to Audio Department. If you need custom cabling, especially for audio, you might want to consider them. Don't forget to. And I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.